What's up, guys? Anime Yokage back for JJK, chapter 248. Let's get into it. The title of the chapter is The Desperate Strike Entrusted by Higuruma. We jump in right where we left off with Yuji actually coming in at Sukuna with the Executioner's Blade. It kind of seems like in this panel, though, that the Executioner's Blade didn't work or is somewhat broken in Yuji's hand, and I think Yuji and Sukuna are both as shocked as each other on this one. Perhaps just because it's not Yuji's technique and it was passed off. Maybe that's why it broke, or maybe that's why it's not working. It doesn't actually show the strike, but it shows the after effect, and it shows the blade very small and or crumbled up in Yuji's hand. Big ol' oof on that one.
Come on, man.
It's also kind of cool because we get a close-up on Yuji's new hand, which has talons and the tendon-looking stuff. But again, we're still not getting any kind of description on what it actually is. We see in the next chapters that Sukuna immediately retaliates, hitting him with 2 fists on the side and blowing Yuji away. This shouldn't do any major damage though, because Yuji is incredibly resilient. Sukuna seems to be chuckling at the fact that even though Higuruma died, he still took the Kumatoke with him, which I don't think puts Sukuna at any kind of disadvantage whatsoever, but it's something. The bigger thing is that Sukuna actually comments that Yuji's stomach is already fully healed, which, of course, either somebody else with reverse curse technique healed him, or he has learned the technique himself. I know we were just talking about how much Higuruma has grown as a sorcerer, but we can't take it away from Yuji either. He's not been a sorcerer that much longer than Higuruma, yet he has made these massive bounds and strides when it comes to how powerful he is, the techniques he's using, and the level at which he's playing right now. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I think in this chapter, you'll see that Sukuna gives him some props as well. It cuts over and we see Weiwei on the scene actually transporting Choso away since he's injured on the battlefield. Sukuna sees this and he determines that Weiwei actually has an instant teleportation curse technique. But here's the moment we've been waiting to hear. Sukuna states that Gojo's body is probably missing due to Weiwei.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
I know. This whole community is in a giant state of hopium that Gojo is not gone. And if Gege knows this and just feeding into it to just really make it hurt that much more when he doesn't come back, that's a dick move. But on the other hand, if they make Gojo come back, then we all partying. Sukuna starts to put everything together and realizes that the other side, every time someone is getting hurt, they're using Weiwei's ability to send everyone back to Shoko to get healed with her reverse curse technique. But he's kind of in disbelief because he doesn't believe that anyone's reverse curse technique can be on the level of his own or Gojo's, which we all know with Hakari's domain expansion, he actually is at that level or surpasses it. And then also, when we got to look into the past, we actually saw that Shoko's reverse curse technique has been developed for a very long time before even Gojo was able to even understand how it's happening. And this is where Sukuna starts to look at Yuji saying, I see you. And I can't tell if he's mad or impressed at this point, but he says, this brat has already obtained reverse curse technique. In the next scene, it's kind of funny because we see Sukuna just standing there kind of like his favorite football team just missed the field goal. Sukuna starts to get deep in thought about everything going on all at once and trying to, I guess, decipher the situation that he's in, but he doesn't care about the other side so much. He's actually spacing out on the battlefield, which is the most unintentional diss that he could ever throw at the other side.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you
We don't care.
Jerry.
And Yuji notices it. He actually states he's spacing out. And that's whenever Sukuna is actually reflecting about Gojo, saying that he's disappointed that Gojo's dead and missing him. He states that he never even thought that he could be satisfied by another sorcerer like this. And you see in their battle, they are both longing to have some kind of purpose at the burden of being the strongest. So I guess Sukuna really hasn't had a moment to reflect on that amazing opportunity that he had to literally travel through time and fight someone who is at his level. Or, he won, but to fight someone who is at his level, or either one of them are above or below, it's incredible that he even got the opportunity. That's when Sukuna goes on to say, I eat when I want to. If someone is an eyesore, I kill them. If they're fun, I play with them a little bit. And he's just reinforcing the fact that every other life form compared to him is just an insect, and they're just playthings kind of in his way. Major main character energy. But at this point, it seems like Sukuna is the main character. It seems like Yuji is kind of a support character at this point. I mean, story-wise. And it's kind of crazy that in the sequence, actually even Sukuna is reflecting on Jogo as well, because he was the first one to actually give Sukuna a memorable fight since he has been reincarnated. Sukuna then goes on to talk about ideals and how the other side's ideal right now, their whole ideals, is just to kill Sukuna. And before, we would assume that Sukuna wouldn't even give this a second thought. He doesn't care. But it seems like he's really annoyed by this. In his eyes, I think it's almost an insult that they think that they can. And Sukuna even states, why am I getting so upset about people chasing after their ideals and what they want to accomplish? And he even reflects back to 1,000 years ago. There were people like that who had their own ideals and they didn't coincide with Sukuna's. And I don't know if he's actually referencing the theory that everyone thinks that Yuji is actually a sorcerer from the Heian era. But here, I can't really tell. Sukuna says something like, Brat, it's you. The opponents that I thought fought 1,000 years ago were other people. And I really don't know if he's hinting that it's like the same kind of spirit or a reincarnation or what. Or even just he's comparing the two. It could just be as simple as that. But this is amazing because Sukuna actually starts to recognize Yuji. He said whenever he knew those other ideals or those other sorcerers, they may have been self-absorbed and they may have been bluffing, but he knows Yuji. They shared the same body. Their souls commingled next to one another. He says, I know this kid. And I know that no matter how many times that I break him, his spirit will come back. And Sukuna says possibly one of the coolest things about Yuji is that he knows that he wields an invincible soul, which I think we've all known, even from his fights with Mahito. Mahito can't touch him, and he was the only person who could touch Mahito's soul because he has a complete understanding what the soul is, even though he's never been actually taught that by anybody, because I don't know if there's anybody that can teach him that. It's almost like an incredible innate ability or some kind of crazy natural understanding that Yuji has about the soul, which is truly the only thing that can be damaged with no reincarnation and can absolutely put a sorcerer in the ground even at the level of Sukuna. And Sukuna actually starts getting further upset, saying that he's so mad that someone who is far below his level can fight at the same pace and ability as him as long as they stick to their ideals. And now Sukuna has come to the determination that he is going to, by far, slice their ideals into pieces. And we start to see this kind of cross thing form in the air above Sukuna. And I don't really know what this is because I've never seen this pop up. It almost looks like the cross that was made for the Executioner's sword, but we all know it's not that. It's something else. And just as everybody is wondering the same thing that we are, we see that a new rule has been made by a player. I think some of us forget that the culling games are still going on. The rule states that Fushiguro Megumi now has the authority to commence the merger between Tengen and humanity. And by Fushiguro, we mean Sakuna. And that means that Kenjaku's will live on. Just like he stated before. We just didn't know that Sakuna was going to be the one to keep pushing it forward because honestly, I never looked like Sakuna ever gave a shit about Kenjaku. But now, all that trouble that they went to stopping Kenjaku to make sure that that merger could not happen, it may happen anyways. But then Sukuna says, I'll literally kill everything. I'll kill all of you. I'll kill everyone else left in the culling game, and then whatever the merger makes out of this giant cursed spirit, I'll kill that too. But then to save the day, our original protagonist, Yuta Okotsu, jumps onto the scene, jumping in front of Yuji with his sword in tow, saying, in a cool as shit way, sorry I'm late. Yuta immediately shoots towards Sukuna and strikes him with his blade, whenever Sukuna tells him, you better kill me now because you're humanity's last chance. Then, out of nowhere, we hear, so who do you think you're talking to? And Rika comes out, slamming her hand into Sukuna and pushing him into a building. Sukuna recognizes Rika and says, so, this is the queen. The editors come in and they say, the king versus the queen of curses. Who will be the one to take the throne? I don't know how truly well Yuta and Rika can stand up against Sukuna, but we really haven't seen the full capabilities of Yuta and Rika working together now that they have been intertwined and fighting and growing together forever. And we've never even seen Yuta's domain expansion, actually. We have no idea of the ability that he has took in or retained, or all the different curse techniques he's copied over the years. This could be an incredible fight. What am I saying? It's going to be an amazing fight.
Hey pal, you just blowing from stupid town?
But all in all, what did you guys think? Go ahead and comment down below and let me know what you guys thought. Leave your thoughts, theories, criticism. Go ahead and leave anything. There's actually a break next week, so I'll go ahead and try and find something to talk about and put another video out about. But I'm trying to be a little bit more consistent with my content to make sure that you guys don't miss out on anything new anime. Love y'all. See you next time.